Yes, y'all. Just want to have some thoughts about Call of Duty World War II. Just because, I mean, I've seen a lot of the same kind of videos and same reviews and same people just talking on Facebook or whatever. You know, if you go on the Call of Duty World War II Facebook group at all, just a lot of people on there. I would say a lot of people are on there like, man, it's the best Call of Duty, you know, in a long time at least. Or sometimes best Call of Duty ever, whatever it is. Basically, but you have a few people on there that are just like, oh, this game is crap and it's garbage. And I'm like, cool, why do you think it's garbage? Like, it's because they literally fixed everything that people were bitching about before, you know, and then people are like, well, the servers. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not gameplay, dude. So, I mean, I wouldn't put servers on, you know, my review for the video game. I'm not going to put something about the servers, okay? Because obviously the server is something that can be tweaked. It's something that can be changed. So it's not a big deal about servers, okay? Those can always be fixed, and they're planning to fix them. As of last night, I played for 30 minutes or whatever last night, and it's still not fixed. You know, like every game I finished, it was disconnected from server. Didn't save my progress for orders or anything like that, so it's still not fixed. Okay, obviously, you know, people are like, well, it's the worst launch ever. No, it's not. You know what I'm saying? I think Black Ops 3 was probably the worst launch. I can't remember, but there might be others that were bad. World at War, I don't remember it, so I know Call of Duty 3 was like the last one I remember the launch of. And Call of Duty 4, or was it Call of Duty 4? It might have been Modern Warfare. Might have been Modern Warfare 2. That launch was horrible too. So a lot of server issues and things like that. So anyway, but they're talking about fixing the servers already, putting out patches and things like that. So you know, once it gets going, okay, fine. You know, there's always going to be some hiccups no matter what, because you know, it's a launch. A lot of big games have those issues. Anyway, so listen. As far as the gameplay and everything, is my assessment is a lot of people on Facebook, a lot of people on different videos been talking about, well, I've been playing Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 4 and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, that's fucking beautiful. For me, I played the first Call of Duty. Okay, I played the big red one. The first Call of Duty that I really spent a lot of time on was Call of Duty 2. I mean, that was as big at LAN parties. It was as big at online. I mean, there was so many, you know, modded servers. There were so many different things you could do with them. You know, custom maps. People made maps. I mean, it was awesome, right? Call of Duty 2 just had so much. I'm talking about on the PC, by the way. I did play it on Xbox 360 also, but it was mostly I played on PC for that. And but a lot of people are like, well, I played Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4. And a lot of these reviews are much younger people than myself. I mean, I'm 40. So a lot of these reviews are by people that were like, you know, probably 6, 7 years old when Call of Duty 4 came out. So 2007. So we're talking 10 years ago, right? So, you know, a lot of these videos of people, you know, okay, whatever. That's probably their first video game their parents ever let them play for some weird reason, because it was mature. Anyway, so, you know, I go back and I'm like, well, I've been playing video games since... sorry, my engine was running. You know, I've been playing first-person shooters. The first one I played was probably, you know, GoldenEye, I think, on the N64. Maybe I played Wolfenstein. You know, Duke Nukem. I played Descent. That was my big game back in the day with the joystick. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen Descent, but it was... I think it was 94 it came out or something like that, 93, something like that. And, you know, you could play it. It was like you were flying a ship around, and it was three-dimensional. It was, you know, it was like a first-person shooter, but it was completely 6 degrees at, you know, 6 degrees of movement. So it was awesome, right? Or is it 3 axis? Whatever. Anyway, you could move every which direction. Up and down, left and right. Up and down, left and right, you know, all around. You're in a ship, for crying out loud. You're flying around mines. Like I said, it was basically just like a first-person shooter, like Doom or something like that. but you were in a ship and you were flying around stuff. And you get into, you know, dogfights with other people. It was like a really, I mean, that game revolutionized stuff at the time. And then it got de-revolutionized because that game didn't really catch on. I mean, they did make Descent 2, which is just like Descent 1, except for a little bit different. And then Descent 3 was a completely different engine. And Descent 3 was, you know, pretty big for a while. And I just don't think that it's what people... and there were a lot of people that played it, but it wasn't big like Call of Duty when that came out or anything. Anyway, so after that, I got into Tactical Ops. Now, it was a mod for Unreal Tournament. Now, I played Unreal Tournament also, and then it was a mod that came out for it called Tactical Ops, and it was like, you know, counter-terrorists versus the terrorists and all that, right? So, it was pretty awesome. You know, that was my first-person shooter experience, really, and being flat on the, you know, boots on the ground type of thing. And, where you're shooting other people with guns and, you know, whatever. It was cool. And of course, Counter-Strike came out around that same time. Is like competition for it, and Counter-Strike was out, and a lot of people were like, "Whoa!" You know, it was kind of like you either played Tactical Ops or Counter-Strike. You didn't play both. That was kind of how it was back then. Kind of like Battlefield and Call of Duty nowadays, right? And it's always been those kids. So I love Tactical Ops, and then they came out with the Tactical Ops full version, like it's a separate game and everything. And it was cool for a while, but I mean, it, you know, it just didn't really kick off that well. It didn't last very long. And you know, Counter Strike, you know, Half-Life was out, Half-Life 2, I think, and then Counter Strike, was it Counter Strike 2 or I don't know what CS, Counter Strike something was out, whatever it was, I don't remember. I didn't really play it that much. I played a little bit at LANs and stuff, Counter Strike games, and then I got into playing CS:GO. You know, when that came out, you know, years later, whatever. Anyway, by then I was already playing, you know, Call of Duty and stuff. So, Call of Duty 2 online all the time. You know, cool game, right? That was like the perfect game. Good for sniping, good for everything else. And you had the big open maps and everything like that a lot of times. And some maps were not so big and open, but they were just very unique. You know what I'm saying? They were kind of designed after real towns and things like that. Designed after places that existed and you know, in history. And they had cool places where they had, like, you know, a guy in a window, but, you know, it was a good place to snipe from, but you always knew there was going to be a guy there, so you could just snipe the window. It was easily, you know, gone against and everything, and it was fine. And then Call of Duty 3 came out, right? And that was only on the console. I was a little bit upset by that, but that's when I actually bought an Xbox 360. And, you know, I got Call of Duty 2, and I played it on there too, but I got it for Call of Duty 3. I'm like, I want to play Call of Duty 3. Got an Xbox 360, and cool game, man. Like, I love Call of Duty 3. It was different, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, I was like, oh snap, you can get in a tank and, you know, just mow people down, whatever. But it was the gameplay. It was like, you know, the ragdoll effects. It was like the big open maps again. It was just like the way the maps were laid out. Modern Warfare, not Modern Warfare, Jesus Christ. World War II reminds me of a lot of the gameplay of Call of Duty 2. And also a lot of the gameplay of Call of Duty 3. Just the way the maps kind of flow, and they got hills and things like that. And, you know, open areas where you can just, you know, you could snipe people or hit them from a long shot with whatever weapon. And it's just a really cool, Modern War, you know, World War II has just a lot of feel, for me, it has a lot of feel of the Call of Duty 3 stuff. But also, it's not just like, I'm just not taking it like, okay, it's a perfect copy or nothing like that. I'm saying it's like, it's a mixture to me of, like, say, Call of Duty 2 and 3, and one of the newer ones, like Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 3. I mean, Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2. Or maybe one of the Modern Warfares, you know, like 2 or 3. Kind of a mixture. I would say that's a good one. Modern Warfare 2 or 3, maybe 2, mixed with Call of Duty 2 and 3. But of course, then you have to add the, you know, all the other stuff from, you know, then you have the additions to it, right? Like the variants and the different guns, all the, you know, being able to customize everything and whatever. So that's something that, you know, they took from the last, you know, few games. So anyway, I think it's a really good game. I think it's really good potential and everything like that. We're back to boots on the ground, which I was never opposed to boots off the ground. Like, I didn't mind the jump packs and everything like that. It added a new dimension to the game, which I thought was cool. That was something that was something that was needed. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of it was just like monotonous. You do the same thing over and over again. When they added the jetpacks, futuristic things, it was kind of like that added a new dimension to it, like a up and down, you know, like more dimension to it. So it made it harder, it made it more difficult, but that added to the gameplay, I felt. But a lot of people were like, oh, I'm getting killed by people, and they just couldn't handle it. They didn't like the boots off the ground thing. So a lot of people complained about that. But anyway, but like I'm saying, a lot of things that people complained about, that was the main thing, right? We need boots on the ground. And they brought it back with, you know, World War II, and people still complaining about it, which is fine. Anyway, so we're going to get ready to go to work for today.